Esta es Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello, hello,
James.
David.
Hey, what's up?
Hey man, how's it
Yes,
how's it
sir.
going, man? Hey, thank you guys. I want to go ahead and welcome you guys to You Have a Collect Call From, and today we're gonna be with Jesse and David. You know, it's a every day, it's a every Sunday type of occasion. Really appreciate you guys calling in.
Hey, we try to. We try to, James. Every once in a while, though, we kind of lose you out in the wild. We don't, I call a video call, and you'll be in Vegas, Canada, like, hey, man,
Utah,
where in the
Washington.
world is James?
Yeah. Where's Waldo?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is Jesse Nava,
And
chiming in. The Sunday night special we usually do right here on at You Have a Collect Call From. We appreciate anybody who tunes in, any of the faithful listeners, any of the new listeners, anybody who don't know us, don't know our story. Feel free to listen. We tend to just do topic conversation or sometimes just general conversation on the Sunday night shows. Dave and I been doing this for a while, from the beginning of this channel, and we've both been friends for a very long time since we were teenagers. And so we're fortunate enough to be here together. Unfortunately, it happens to be in this environment in prison. But anybody that knows our story and heard our version of events, everybody knows that one day soon we'll be out there in society with our families and our loved ones and living the life that God intended for us. And so, yeah, I just wanted to check in. Appreciate everybody that's listening and anybody that happens to listen. I know James is on the go. We took the show on the road today, so I don't think we'll be having call-ins or we won't be streaming on both platforms. I personally prefer YouTube because TikTok is a little too delicate and sensitive for my liking. But
it's a little weird.
yeah,
Like, honestly, there's some weird freaking people on that. And I'm all about weird. Like,
yeah,
yeah, I praise it at times.
yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you right now, man. There's some strange cookies on TikTok, and I'm glad to be here. You did that intro, Jesse. It was beautifully said. It put a tear in my eye. And we have a topic that we were discussing because we have some mutual friends that they're just some angry people sometimes out there, and these guys have to navigate a world with some angry people out there, and we got a lot of freaking fake angry people in here. There's some real angry people, and then there's a lot of fake ones, and we get triggered a lot. We get triggered. Sometimes we want to fight. We don't do it no more because we're in recovery. We've both been in recovery for a while now, but we were talking about it. We're like, man, what do we do under certain circumstances out there in society? Because we didn't make the best choice. We lost our temper and we both killed somebody. Different people, both of us. And we asked ourselves like, hey man, but what is the difference from what led us to think that it was okay to take somebody's life, and what's different about the people that can lose their temper out there? They can get called out their name, they can get flipped off, they can get cut off out on the street, but they're maintaining. My wife tells me she wants to knock people out all the time. She doesn't do it. She just says, she always remembers, what's important in her life, and we forgot that in the past. And we kind of wanted to talk about that subject today. James, when's the last time you wanted to knock somebody out, James? And be honest.
Man, on a daily basis, man. Just like either driving around or just interaction with people or people like if man like what recently I had like this interaction where I was recording like out on the street. I was recording
Mm-hmm.
and somebody called the cops on me and the cops like okay so at first the CHP showed up. They're like, hey
You
cause
can't be recording through people's bathroom windows.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's that's against the law.
Yeah. Doesn't help that you were hanging from somebody's tree looking in the second story window.
Live from jail. Live from jail. That you have a collect call from. I'm James calling collect.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Nah, you know what? I was out in a
All right, go
public
ahead. Go
setting.
ahead.
I was in a public setting, and somebody felt the need, call the cops, and CHP or yeah, CHP ended up showing up, and then the dude just told me to get off because I was climbed up on like on some box where I should have not been, and cool, I got down, and he was like, hey, cool, deuces, and he was on his way. But man, it was like maybe like 2 3 minutes later, another cop showed up from from a different police department. He was like, hey, can I talk to you? I was like, yeah, what's up? And he was like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm I'm recording in public. And then he was like, hey, like, why don't you put down your stuff on my, why don't you get comfortable and put your stuff on my hood? And I was like, nah, I'm okay. I'll rather hold on to my belongings and whatnot. And then he was like, what's your name? I was like, my name's not important. I wasn't breaking the law. So, unless you tell me that I was, I'm not going to provide you with my information. And then like he kept on at it, he kept on like pushing it. He was like, man, like what's your name? He was like, I could arrest you for obstruction. I was like, well, hey, go right ahead, be my guest. I haven't done anything wrong, you haven't told me I did anything wrong, you don't have any reasonable articulate suspicion, so I'm not going to provide you with my information. So, and I kept on telling the couple, like, hey, you know what, like, I was like, am I free to go? Like, because I don't want to be here in this situation, I don't want to interact with you, I don't want to answer any of your questions, I just want to get on the way and continue with my day. And then he kept on
Yeah.
with that. "Yeah, I need your ID. I need to know who you are." I was like, "Man, I'm not gonna give you that information." And then he was like, so finally, luckily, another cop showed up, a seasoned cop, and he was like, "Hey, you know what?" Like, and he pulled him to the side, and then he came, and then his partner came. He was like, "Nah, you good to go. You could, And then I was like, all right, then cool. Hey, deuces, I'm out of here. But interactions like that, definitely they're stressful situations, and it takes me back to a time when I was younger, when I didn't know how to handle those situations, when I didn't know that I had rights, that I had a voice, to speak up. But that's one of those times that I remember that I was heated, I was mad. I got on the phone after the interaction. I called my wife and I was like, hey man, like, this is what happened like today. And she was like, man, she was like, well, I'm not surprised, like that you handled it the way you did. But when I tell my wife things like that, puts her on edge um because she doesn't know how I'm gonna respond or react.
And she probably worries that the reality of, because if it would have been if that other cop wouldn't have showed up, eventually that young, high strung individual would have probably made a big old pancho, and you could have found yourself sitting in the back of the cop car, sitting in the jail, and your señora is probably thinking, man, like, come on, like she doesn't understand the point that you were making, the valid point you were making. She's probably thinking like, man, that ticket could have got bad real fast.
Yeah.
Because how many we see stories every day. We see it on the news every day. We see situations every day where somebody's catching the bad end of the bad end of a police stick.
The bad end of a baton.
Yeah, the bad end of a baton. Usually it's in the form of a bala. Yeah, usually it's in the form of a bala or a taser. But these dudes, they're gung ho. You know what I mean? Like, and it's crazy. And so, like, yeah, you definitely have rights. You definitely have a right. Like, you don't just get to walk up to somebody on the streets and say, hey, let me harass you, because that's harassment. That's the reality of it. You know what I mean? Just because they got a badge and they're officers of the law, it doesn't give them a right to just walk around interrogating people and hassling people, So,
Have you been batoned before, Jess?
I've
No.
absolutely been batoned.
Oh.
I've been batoned as well.
Yeah.
No, I have. I beat the crap out of you with one of those.
Yeah, I do not like this baton.
Hey, they got me. No, I got hit 3 good times with a baton, and it's funny because in the report it says that they hit me I think in the right thigh, or like they hit in that area right there, but all the bruises were all along my spine.
Yeah. Yeah, they always put it like that. We hit him in the lower region between his ankle and his
Yeah.
What are you talking
They
about?
were all
Why
face
the
shots.
side of my neck?
Yeah. Yeah, but go ahead, Jess. You're making a great point. Great point. James, have
Yeah,
you been batoned?
no, no, no. Fortunately, I haven't. I've been roughed up
What
a bit.
the?
I've been thrown on the
Wow.
floor, but pretzeled. But I fortunately, whenever I had any police interactions, it never went that far.
Hey, I have to ask, why were you pretzeled?
Uh,
Yeah,
y- oh, because I ran.
we
I
we
ran.
we
Well,
set our war dogs.
okay,
Oh, we
so
got
man,
you.
this was maybe like in
We got a
2000.
runner. We got a runner.
It was like 2000. We were in 2000, and me and my
Yeah,
two buddies, we
yeah,
were in downtown LA. We're vandalizing, doing some graffiti, and we were
yeah.
like where they have all these warehouses over there by like the bridge, what do you call it, the Sixth Street Bridge, and I guess we got too close to
Uh
a
huh.
building, and we ended up setting off a silent alarm, and a
Oh
cop
wow.
ended up showing up, but he didn't have his sirens on or nothing. He pulled up next to us, and then he told us to get against the wall, and then we all went up like we were gonna go up to the wall, and as soon as we got up to the wall and he jumped out the car, we all broke. We everybody went a different direction,
Oh yeah.
and then so
Obviously.
he couldn't keep
Yeah.
up with us. He was a little bit on the out of shape size, and
Yeah.
I ended up trying to double back on him. So, but that didn't work because he ended up calling up for backup, and then I was running, and then finally I was like, man, I wasn't gonna get away. There was just too many cops showed up at the same time, so I ended up, getting down on my knees, putting my hands behind my head, and then the cop, I guess his adrenaline was pumping. He was all excited. He came up to me. He ran. I think he did like a jump kick to my back, and then after that they proceeded to
Ooh.
all jump on me and handcuff me, and that was that. It was a wrap.
James, I had the thought. You know how they say like, "Hey, we're all caught now. Come on out now." They got us. You had already gotten away. You came back and just. You guys had gotten away. You ran back to him somehow. Turned around, went on the ground.
Well, you know what?
Beat up.
The reason I did that was because one of my buddies, he kind of ran the same direction as me, and I was like, fuck that, like I at least want to have a chance of getting away, like at
Yeah,
least one of us. So there ain't no point in us running the same direction. So I tried to double back, and it
yeah.
didn't work out for me. And I'm the only one that ended up getting caught. I ended up hitting county, and it wasn't a fun time.
Hell no.
Not a fun
I
time.
was in a riot. I was in a riot in like 2016, I think, or 2017. Forgot one of those years. I was in a riot over there in Tehachapi, and so we had went at it, and I thought like we had been going at it for a while. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna slip out the riot and just kind of get into another area. Like I had already done mine. People see me over there, and in the riots, you have to get involved. Like you gotta get off on somebody. So I was doing my thing for a while. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna freaking slip out. So I made a break for it, and I went in another direction, and I went over by the handball court, and I was kind of crawling, thinking I was slick. And I look around me, and half the riot, all my people, they were right next to me, crawling next to me, like, hey, where are we going? I was like, I was like, you idiots, you just got us all busted, Like, I was like, because everybody does that. Like, they had already been shooting for a while, and they had already gassed the place out, bombed it out, So I'm like, I'm gonna find a cool little spot and prone out. And then I look back, and all my side of the riot, my people were all proned out next to me, crawling next to me, like, hey, where are we going? You think we're gonna get away? Fuck.
Not anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Not only are you guys busted, but you got me busted too.
Yeah, the gig is up. Manos per Reba.
Yeah. No, but we talked about, we were talking about this subject, right? We kind of veered off, but I like doing that. I like our little sidebars. But now we were talking about this because we had Jesse and I have a mutual friend, and he was going through some stuff now where somebody kind of came at him out of pocket.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
This is a stand-up guy. This is a stand-up individual. We won't put him out there who he is, but this is a stand-up guy, and we kind of fell for him, because this dude was just like, man, like, I think I'm ready to freaking handle my business, But of course, he's gonna do the right thing because he's a stand-up guy. But Jesse and I were talking, and we're thinking, damn, if this dude was feeling like he had to go fisticuffs, and he
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
and he's been living his life in good orderly direction. What the heck are we gonna do in that situation? And we have to really get into this stuff because there's no margin of error for us, for Jesse and I.
No,
You know,
or
we have
anybody
to,
else from our situations.
yeah, we have to make the right decision at all times. There's no, well, just this time this guy needs to get this jawed. It don't work like that. But hey, we're gonna give you a call back, James. It's gonna cut off right now.
Okay, yeah. When you guys call back, I got a few comments for you guys that I'm gonna go ahead and read off to you guys.
All right.
All right, all right. So right now, we're currently live with Jesse and David, and they should be calling back in the next moment or two. Once they call back, then we'll go ahead and I'll go ahead and read off all these comments that are in the chat here for them, and then we'll go ahead and continue with their conversation. And just to throw my 2 cents in there, as far as like me not identifying myself when I've been in contact with the police, is just because when I was younger, I didn't have that option. The cops wouldn't give you that option. They would just do whatever they wanted to do. And if you didn't know your rights, then that's what it was.
This call is now being recorded. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Tel Link.
Hello, hello.
All right, James.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
So the first comment we got on here is going to be from Miss Vero 559, and she writes, "Good afternoon, fellas."
Good afternoon.
Yep. What do you think about that Taffy, Beto?
Yeah.
I heard the Aguila has landed. We need to know what's the rating. We heard you thought it was a little spicy. That's what we do.
Yep, that's what we do.
Hot boys.
And she put
What else?
so she put after that message she put, "Thanks for the spicy taffy. It was yummy. What flavor is it?" Oh, they can't give up that recipe.
Shit. Who you working for, Beto? I feel like Bruce Willis sent you.
Oh, I'll tell her the flavor. I can't tell her exactly what's in it because it's trade secrets.
Yeah.
Jesse will go for the throat.
Yes.
But no, that was pineapple, but it was the wrong pineapple. I had meant to put I had meant to make the other pineapple, right? Like I think she made a good pineapple, which is I forgot what brand makes the one that Javi probably told her about. But that one was Skittles pineapple.
Yes, pineapple passion.
Pineapple passion Skittles, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's some flavors that are just gas. They're gas.
So she liked it.
And she wrote 10. It was a 10. Was spicy. Just the flavor.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
There we go.
We're known for the heat. What you got for us?
And then we got a new participant in the chat here. We got 4ring 8p _ writes sending mines in full. Damn, extended. That's full 8 inches, man. He's out of control. Laughing my ass off. Saludos.
Yeah, so
All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Appreciate you sharing. Yeah.
And then
Slightly above average Dave says fair enough.
Yeah. Extendo. That's the extendo. Yeah, go ahead.
And then Norma K writes, "Hello, this is my favorite show. I wait all week for it. I'm so excited. Don't miss it. Fire muy caliente."
That's right.
Hey, thank you for being here.
Yep, thanks for being here.
Yep, always love to have you here.
Yep.
And
So, what up?
one more from Norma K. She
Go
writes, "What's the hardest thing of making taffy?"
Jesse,
Coming up, I think the hardest thing of all, it's hard. It can be hard on your hands if you're making a lot of the time because you got to do a lot of twisting and work. Like mixing the product. But I think the hardest thing about the taffy game in here is coming up with a recipe that nobody else has. Because a lot of people have kind of figured out how to make taffy, and a lot of people do it, and it's here.
Mm-hmm.
But I think as far as like physically what's the hardest thing is I think just mixing. You know, when you make it dry enough, it's hard to mix. You know.
Yeah, and look, when you like, I don't. Okay, so the way that I sent the taffy to you, James, was I braided it. I braided it, but it was more flat. The way that I make it in here is I roll it. I roll it like I roll them like little sticks. You know, they're taffy sticks. So the problem is, okay, there's two parts that are hard about it. For one is when you mix it, you have to know exactly what liquid to put in it because you got to add liquid because the liquid is what gets it, what hardens it up and gets it into like a taffy form. So finding the right liquid to complement the flavor, that's crucial. Then you have to know how much to put in because it'll start hardening up. Like I'm surprised that this taffy has stayed with the consistency that it has for what, a month already.
Should have rocked up already.
Yeah, it should have got. It gets harder. So the problem is the harder it gets, the harder it is to mix. And when you mix it, you got to get them flavors around. You can't have them. You can't have the flavor.
No hot spots.
You can't have hot spots. No, you got to have an even flavor. So all my ingredients mixed together. You know, I gotta mix it up. But I also need it to harden up again. So what I do is I mix it up, and I keep it soft enough so that I can shape it, but also that I can maintain the consistency. That's really what it is. If it's too hard when you roll it and you go to make, you won't be able to braid it if it's too hard because it'll just start breaking off. You know, it'll start snapping and it'll crack, and so it has to just be just right. And it took me a long time. Jesse makes it pretty good. Jesse makes it. We both make it the same. We have the same recipe. It just took me years to where I can do a lot. I go hard when I make it. I make a lot.
Dave is a mass producer.
Yeah. When I do it, I go.
Yeah, he takes care of the retail.
Yeah, he'll walk in the cell and I'll just have it everywhere. Like I'll have it like all hooked up, and I'm very clean. I'm very sterile when I make it, but I make sure that I have enough room, which takes up most of the cell. So Jesse just walks in. He'll come in from school and he'll just be like, "Okay, I see what you're doing."
I'm out of here.
Yeah, and he'll just walk by and he'll jump up on my bunk. He's like, "Yeah, you're."
I'm out of here.
Go ahead. But no, that's a good question. So set aside that.
Is that it on the comment?
Yeah.
Nah, so
Psychopaths.
so so
Go ahead.
so for ring 8P writes, just trying to bring a smile to you vatos, and then he also writes, the hardest thing I ever made was roses from Jolly Ranchers to send home.
Ooh,
Oh yeah.
those are probably badass for sure. There's some people that are real crafty with that, and I could see it. Man, I guess you would have to liquefy it maybe, or you'd get them wet to make them stick together. But there's gotta, man, that's pretty badass.
Yeah, that's crafty.
That's crafty right there. Yeah, for sure. Especially Jolly Ranchers. Absolutely.
Tell them we need a Jolly Rancher rose.
No, I think they look badass though. If you put some plastic around them and they have that shiny look to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they have a good smell to it, not like that rose smell. If you get a good like a cherry Jolly Rancher. Bomb. Yeah. I say you got my wheels turning.
Yeah. I got my eye on a Jolly Rancher rose.
Yep, for sure. No, so all right. You got anything else for us, James?
Nah, but I do have a comment on those Jolly Ranchers. If I was there, I wouldn't be able to make anything with those Jolly Ranchers. I would have messed them all up. I would have ate them all, especially the green ones and the green ones and the red ones. They would have been gone.
Wow. You never eat your product, man.
Can't do it. Can't get high on your own supply.
Yeah, what's going on here?
That's it.
But we eat taffy too, like Jesse and I, but we don't eat too much. We get like little pieces of it just to try out. But
make sure we're not putting no bammer out there.
Yeah, we gotta make sure it's good. You know, my taffy's always good. My taffy's usually a 10, but it just gets better. You know, there's different flavors. I try to switch.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
It all depends on the flavor. My queen, she knows exactly what's in it. You know, yeah, it's wifey. She knows what's in it. She was tripping when I was making it. You know, she seen me make it. She's like, "Hey, what the hell?" So, anyway, I guess we'll get back on topic.
Yep.
Talk about these psychopaths, Jess. Have you ever met a psychopath?
I'm living with one.
there you have it. No, this is the thing, and I bring this up because you know we were talking about our boy that got confronted with an unlively character, and he felt like coming out of character himself, to prove his point, So I started to ask myself, well, what is this point that we're always trying to prove? What is this point that we're always trying to prove? Who are we trying to prove it to, for one? And what is it? What does it all matter? Why does it matter? So I'm gonna ask you that, Jess.
And what's the driving force behind this point?
Yeah, for you in your history, Jess, when you were faced with a situation, right? Why did you resort to violence, but so many others didn't?
I think that's a good question. I think.
Thank you.
For me, I think it would have to be, a lot of it had to do with this fabricated vision of pride. This ego, this overinflated ego that I carry. Fear, absolutely. Fear was a major thing, because fear drove a bunch of other emotions, primarily anger. When I started to feel fear, not necessarily fear of the situation, but fear of the circumstances surrounding it. Like, how is this going to be? How am I going to be perceived in this situation? How, and so because I didn't understand vulnerability, I didn't understand fear, I didn't understand the things that were driving. I didn't even understand that I was being driven by an ego. As far as I was concerned, it was, oh, this is what it is. Like, this is how I was taught, and this is what I know how to deal with things. But that I know now that's absolutely not the case. It was usually I felt some sort of emotion initially, which led to fear, because I didn't understand the initial first emotion I was feeling. And as a result of that, because I had no tools in my toolbox to deal with what I was feeling, I didn't know how to communicate. I didn't know how to diffuse situations. I didn't even know how to understand the other person's emotion or the other person's perspective in the situation. So I tended to basically exert myself in that situation, and basically, the best way I could get somebody to understand me was by making them understand me, And so as a result of that, I was extremely violent for a long time, And for me, a lot of my violence was when I was younger. I was very impulsive, because, again, I had a lot of anger. I had a lot of emotion that I had not processed and didn't understand. So because I was basically like a walking around ticking time bomb, it was there. So any perceived slight, any perceived disrespect, any perceived, and I can look back at it now, and it's funny, because I demanded respect from people that I wasn't willing to give respect to, or that I wasn't, I expected things that I wasn't able to give in return or willing to give in return. I look back at that and I think, like, man, how egocentric is that? How ignorant is that? That I feel that people owe me something that I'm not willing to give them, And a large part of that, it's changed about me now. Now I understand, like, I genuinely try to, be concerned about.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
A big part for me too was I had no values. I had nothing to lose as far as I was concerned. I lived in a victim stance most of my life, and so it was all or nothing. I was consumed by this criminal thinking that was just like, it's all or nothing. It's balls to the wall.
Yeah.
And so it's like consequences were not even an option for me. Like there was no consequence. Whatever happened after I committed an act of violence, if anything, it was a reward factor, because I got praise, I got acceptance, I got recognition for it. Oh man, that fool's, he's a nut. That fool's with it. And it's crazy, because in this dysfunctional world that we lived in, this paradigm that we were frequenting in, those were the kind of things that were seen as highly. They were praised. And so for me, I think that was a large part why I was violent, because I didn't have any other tools in my toolbox to deal with situations in a pro-social way, in a respectable, honorable way. So I dealt with things like a child. You offend a child, you hurt a child's feelings, and he throws a tantrum, he throws a fit. And that's basically what I was doing when I was exerting violence on other people.
We talked about something earlier when we were on the yard, the term illusion of transparency.
Yeah.
We talked about that on the yard, and that's a social psychology term. We learned it when we were in college. And the illusion of transparency means that we think that people can see right through us, that people can see that we're afraid, people can see that we're angry, people can see that we're unsure. And that was my driving factor, because I felt like I was being I felt like I was advertising to the world that I was scared. You know, I wasn't when I was younger. When I was younger, I wasn't a violent kid. I did messed up things. I got in trouble, but I wasn't a violent kid. I was a very emotional kid. But I had to be pushed into a fight when I was younger. Um, I was a kid that was hurt. I was hurt when I was a kid. I haven't got into it on a podcast, but I was hurt when I was a kid. I was constantly being hurt, and when I started to, when I was forced into these fights, I was scared to death, man. I was scared that I was going to be hurt by somebody else. And what I learned was that I was actually more of a threat to a lot of these guys than I had given myself credit.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
I started to hurt people. I started to fight. I started to win fights. And I'm going to tell you, it felt good to hurt people at that time. It felt good to not be a victim, to not be the victim. And I think, well, I've narrowed it down that that's what led to me behaving like a psychopath.
Absolutely.
You know, that was the origin of that. I hurt one person. Guess what? It felt good. Why? Because I had a hole in my heart. Guess what? I wanted to do it again, and I wanted to do it quicker. So I sought out people to hurt. All right, James, we're gonna call back, James. Still with us?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. I'm still here. So
All right,
yeah.
I'm gonna
So
call back right now.
okay, we'll be waiting right here. All right. So today I'm actually I'm not streaming from my house. So if you guys hear like voices in the background, that's what it is because you know I don't have my dedicated location to be able to stream and whatnot. But so whenever they're on the conversation, I'm putting my mic on mute so you guys don't get any of the background noise and whatnot. And let me see right here. No sim restrictions. All right, cool. All right, all right. So it's all right, here we go.
Esta
This
es
call is now
Global
being
Telling.
recorded.
Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
And do that. I'll hear it.
Hello,
All
hello.
right, James.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So, um, getting continuing off what we were talking about earlier, but look, most of us that commit violence when we're older, most of us that commit murder, it starts somewhere. You don't just come out of the womb guns blazing. You know, Jesse did, but before he was guns blazing out of the womb, he was still an innocent little zygote. You know.
And I think
He was a fetus at one point.
Yeah, he
That
was
was
a
innocent.
fetus before he was heavy enough to carry a pistol.
Yeah.
No, but to piggyback off what Dave said, he's absolutely right. He touched on a very important point, you know, and I think I was giving a surface answer and he was giving an internal answer, you know, which is absolutely the case. And that's basically what it was for me. That's what drove that ego and that false pride and all those insecurities, those emotions that I didn't understand, because I had so much unresolved emotion that I carried around in me like a fireball. You know, when I said I was a ticking time bomb, I was that way since I was a very young kid because of a lot of the abuse and the trauma that I had endured as a child. You know, that I couldn't understand, the confusion, the hurt, the pain, the disappointment. It all became just one giant ball of anger. So Dave hit it right on the head, you know, and I that ego and that pride and all this false sense of power and control that I were masked that I generated.
That comes later, though.
Right, those things came on to, those are things that I created over myself to try to protect that kid, and violence became the only tool that I had to exert those things, you know, to exhibit that kind of behavior.
Yeah, because when we're younger and when we're out of control youth, we're not thinking about pride. We're not thinking about ego. We're not thinking about anything other than what makes us feel good at the moment.
Right.
And guess what? It felt good to me to fight. It felt good to win those fights. It felt good to hurt people.
No.
I wasn't a killer yet, I didn't know that. I guess anybody is capable of taking a life, but that's not where I was going with it. I wasn't thinking that far ahead. I wasn't thinking when I ran up on somebody in the system. I ran up on somebody in juvenile hall. I ran up on somebody in these camps. I wasn't thinking, well, I want to kill this guy. I was just thinking, I want to feel good right now. I want to feel right, and that's the only time I felt right, and that was very destructive because I was seeking out that high. I was seeking out that feeling. It was a totality of circumstances. Not only was I satisfying that emotional need to feel something, other than pain. I was seeking that out. Then I was seeking out the physical altercation. Not only did I like punching on people, I liked it when I got hit back. It was a weird feeling. It's hard to explain, but I liked going toe to toe with somebody and just feeling
that hit and knowing that you stomached it because it just validated in your own mind that it validated that ego. Like, I'm a bad mother.
I'm a bad mother. I could take these hits. He's not knocking me down. And we didn't go bodies when we were going at it with force. We went straight face to face, jaw to jaw. You know, we were all headshots. Most of us were breaking our fingers. My fingers have been broken numerous times because I was going straight for the top of the head. I was going for the forehead. I was going for the head. I was going for the back of the head. I was going for the jaw. I wanted to hurt and inflict harm. And also, I wasn't. I was willing to take that as well. I was also being hit in the head. I was also being hit in the face, and I was maintaining that image. You know, that I was down for whatever. You know, and
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
that also satisfied that need to be accepted.
It was reinforced.
The
belief that you had in your mind, that I had in my mind, we're like, yeah, I'm a bad dude, look at this.
Yep.
Because I remember literally being in the middle of incidents and being like, I wonder how this looks for these fools.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, I wonder how, you know what I mean? I wonder if I'm putting up the right kind of show for these fools. And like you said, it's reinforced by the people outside who accept it.
Yeah, and I sought out those scenarios. People would look at me sideways, and I didn't have to get at them like that. You know, I had a famous saying. Somebody would look at me and be like, what's up, homie? You know me or something?
Yeah. I owe you some money or what?
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, what you looking at me like that for? I owe you some money?
Yeah, you think something's funny or what? You know, and those were standard statements. I could have patented them. I use them so much.
Yeah.
And that's because I wanted the confrontation. I wanted somebody to slide up, and I wanted to meet that gangster. And any time I didn't meet that gangster, I was actually unhappy. I didn't like it when people broke it down. When they were like, nah, homie, I don't want no problems. I didn't like it. I wanted problems. I was looking for it. I sought it out. And I needed them to flash on me because I wasn't going to just take off on them for looking at me sideways because I would have gotten in trouble. You know, I would, especially, you know, on the main line, we would get in trouble for that. But if somebody was looking at you sideways and you told them a little something, you know, on the down low, if so, homie, you know me or something, you know, their response could have warranted my next move. If they would have said, what's cracking, homie, you know, and they got crazy, boom, then we'll work it out with whoever we knew. Good thing for me, Jesse was in charge in a lot of situations. Hey, Jess, gonna get me out of this one?
Guess what? I did it again.
I did it again. Oh, who you gonna go tell? My homeboy Jess? Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, you want to tell on me? Go ahead. Matter of fact, let me call him for you.
Yep. Yep. And that's the problem. Is because a lot of the guys that were in charge, they were the boys. They were the fellas, you know, and they're not gonna let us get in trouble, especially for something like that, because these dudes were hurting just like I was hurting. They understood why I was the way I was, and that's the problem with people like us, because we didn't know when to stop. We continued on, and guess what? We became psychotic. We became psychopaths. We were without remorse. Yeah, I felt bad sometimes. Sometimes I didn't. It was, you know, and that was a problem. That's why we weren't able to be in society anymore.
And so you bring up this topic because we came up with this topic because we were talking about a friend of ours who, you know, recently was faced with a situation and just to think somebody as responsible as him to feel the way that he did and feel compelled to, like, you know, want to confront another individual and this and that, you know, like how far would he have been willing to take it, you know, and I think it's a great catalyst for this conversation, because it's like, what would we do today for that individual, if he felt that way, imagine how far we would have taken that situation in the past in a heartbeat.
Sure.
It could have easily resulted in somebody losing their life. It could have easily resulted in jail time. It could have easily resulted, and mind you, these are working men. These are guys that work, that have a family to support, bills to pay, kids in school, whatever it is, and there's a lot of things that these consequences could have an effect on. And so today, for us, it's basically like, what where would we be at today? What would we do in a situation like that? And I think for this situation, it hits a little close to home because we know how good this dude is. We know what kind of heart he has, and to think that he's opening up opportunities for people, and to think that somebody come. And it's funny because this is a situation that actually, like, because our first thought was like, fool, who does this fool think he is getting at the homie like that? Like that, because that's just how. Because for so long we've been conditioned to stand for our friends, to stand, and it's funny because we're giving him the advice of what he needs to do, but when we hang up, we're just kind of like, man, who the fuck does that dude think he is talking to the homie like that, or and we don't even know exactly the words that were said, but knowing that this dude was biting the hand that feeds him, and thinking of like, man, these are opportunities out there that we can't wait to have. And this man's out here taking advantage of the situation, and it made me feel some kind of way in the sense that.
Yeah, go ahead.
And so we were asking ourselves, like, damn, like, just imagine, like, what would that look like today, because before we would have been like, what? Nah, hell no, let's go over there, let's go talk to this cat.
We'll take care of it.
Yeah, we'll take care of it, don't care, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to go talk to this dude myself, see where's he at, and situations like that could easily, I've been in many of those situations where we're standing out in front of somebody's house brawling, going, somebody gets stabbed, somebody gets shot. I mean, it goes to the extreme with people who are all or nothing, who have that all or nothing mentality the way that we did in the past. And so today, we're sitting here and we're thinking like, man, what would something look like that in a pro-social world for us, who we are today, because that was what worked for us. And I know you guys have heard me say before, and heard David and I say before, that we're not built for prison anymore. I'm not built for prison, bro. I really am not, because prison is a dangerous place.
Yeah.
Prison is full of predators. Prison is full of people just looking to get over it. It's not a good place,
Parasitic environment.
Yeah, parasitic environment, absolutely. And so, in the past, this was my home. This is where I thrived at, because I was just as bad as one of them, and I had what it took to survive in here. I had no problem inflicting violence on people. I had no problem with acting and thinking later, and that's what prison really is about, impulsive, reckless, destructive behavior. And so, for the most part, we do this channel because we're trying to show everybody that that's not the only thing prison is. But just know that those of us that are on this path, it's not easy, it's not without obstacle, because we're still surrounded. This is where society throws the people who
throws them away.
Yeah, throws them away. So what do you think? What kind of synergy do you think that generates in places like this with the hopeless and destructive individuals that we're surrounded by?
What kind of people would society throw away?
Exactly.
Think about it. That's what's in here.
Absolutely.
We walk out of this cell. We look around, and it's like, man, you gotta always keep that in mind. Like, all right, well, this dude right here, he might look like this, he might look like that, but this dude was thrown away by society for a reason. And you can't forget that.
Right.
You just can't forget that. And I think, okay, so Jess, let me ask you this, right? When's the last time that you were in a violent incident, physical violence? What year?
The last time I was in a physically violent incident, it's been a while. It's been since I would have to say 2019, where I was actually involved in a physical altercation. I've been in other situations since then that were potentially violent.
I'm talking about fisticuffs.
Oh yeah, fisticuffs. Yeah, 2019. I was involved in a fight right here in a
duel.
Yeah, in a duel.
Good old-fashioned skirmish.
Yep, right here in a cell, right here in Fort Block, matter of fact, and it was actually one of my so-called homies from my area, and I had been doing business with them, and I had them bringing something in for me, and And of course, when you bring your friends in the middle of business and dealing and whatnot, their drug habits get the better of them, and it's just, the dude's just a weirdo.
Yeah.
And so he ended up doing something. He ended up getting in my shit, and ultimately I had to make an example of what I believed in that moment in my life. I had no choice but to make an example, and it goes back to the pride and that ego and that false illusion that I'm projecting.
The thing is that why I asked you this question, right? For mine, it was the last time I was in an incident was in 2018 January, in Taffy. But yeah, there's been near misses and whatnot where I wanted to beat somebody up like that day on the softball field and whatnot, But I ask you this question because I want to know what was the difference then till now. Why is it that you've managed to go almost 5 years without getting into a fight in prison with the worst of the worst in here, with society's freaking trash?
Well, I think, and it goes back to what I was saying about, not being built for this anymore. It's
But what does that mean?
that's what I'm saying. It goes back to not being built for this before. I'm no longer conditioned the way that I was to react versus responding. I'm no longer consumed. I don't believe that violence is an option. I don't believe that anybody can give me.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
I don't believe in giving anybody my power anymore. You know what I mean?
And that's what I wanted to. That's what I was looking for. And the thing is, you're no longer willing to engage in violence. You're absolutely built for this. You got tattoos. You're a minority. You're of moderate build. No, the thing is that you're unwilling to succumb to this madness anymore.
Right.
Because you could do it. We're survivors.
Right.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
Yep. And I do know what you mean. I know the difference, but I don't think the listeners will.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I know. I speak your language. I speak jargon.
Yeah.
I get it. But I wanted you to break it down more because people might not understand when they say, "Okay, well, I'm not built for this." Well, what do you mean?
You're up, old man.
Are you weak? Are you
Yeah.
physically weak? Are you emotionally weak? No, because I see more strength in you today than I've ever seen in you.
Right.
So I think that you're built for a lot more than this. You're built for greater things. So
that's why I won't give that power to somebody else again.
Exactly. But hey, James, we're going to give you a call back. Can you take another call?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
All right.
uh, all right. Hey, so I want to go ahead and welcome Michael from Toronto. Really appreciate you. Norma K. Right now, as soon as I have a moment, I'll go ahead and ask them your question there, and everybody, four ring 8P underscore, I believe. Hey, you know what? I appreciate you guys, and um, I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and they had mentioned to me, you know what? I'm gonna wait till the fellas come on so I could mention it, what I was told. But I definitely, when they told me what they told me,
This call is now
Esta
being
es
recorded.
Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5.
Call recording
Para
ended.
regresar. Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
hello.
James.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. All right, we're back. So, yeah, I was just so I was touching on that topic because I wanted to highlight what kind of a person that Jesse is. And I believe that about myself as well. Look, I've outgrown the childish mentality and reactions of prison. Yeah, I'm just unwilling to engage in violence anymore. Yeah, I lose my temper, but I'm unwilling to engage in violence. I don't want to hurt nobody else, so I'm not going to. Period. That's just what it is. Yeah, I get mad. I want to knock people out too, all the time. But I'm unwilling to do it. I'm not going to do it.
It's coming to that realization that we were walking around like puppets, giving everybody around us one of our strings to our emotions, to our reactions, to you know what I mean, and that's exactly what we were. When we acted that way, we were puppets. Anybody could walk up to us and pull a string and get us to lift our hand, get us to lift our leg, like we were straight puppets because of our emotional strings.
Absolutely. And you said it. You said it well. You know, and so I said, look, it takes more of a man to turn away from that behavior in here, and even on the streets. Or woman, you know, I don't know. Is that how you say it? Like it takes more of a woman to walk away, like because I want to be equal on both sides. Because men and women, more men, I guess, probably get busted for violent acts, but there's violent women out there. They do some crazy shit too.
Absolutely.
You know, so I don't want to take away and say, "Oh, this is a topic just for men." No, it's not. It's a topic for women as well. Because there's a lot of women out there that was straight. Guess what? When a woman is behind the wheel of a car, she's got a powerful freaking weapon at her disposal. She could easily run somebody off the road. You know, that doesn't take a lot of manpower to freaking turn the steering wheel, and they don't do it. Most women don't.
Absolutely.
You know, my beautiful wife, she'll flip someone off. Hey, fuck you, man. You know, cutting somebody off, or somebody cuts her off or something like that. You know, she gets mad. But guess what? She goes about her day. She doesn't pursue the car to commit a violent act. You know, I hear about it a little bit later. Sometimes I don't, and that's what it is. But that's the essence of the topic that I wanted to highlight right there. There's a willingness to commit violence, and there's a willingness not to. Yes, I believe that a person could be psychotic. I do believe that there's some people that are beyond repair. I do. Is that the ultimate definition of a psychopath? Can you become psychotic, but not a psycho? You know, because I think there's a difference. You're repeating this similar behavior to somebody who's an absolute psycho, like Jeffrey Dahmer or one of them crazy fucks, you know. But there's a lot of people that are committing gang violence, and yeah, it's not the same level. They're not eating people and shit like that, but they're violent motherfuckers, man. They're killing people. They're shooting people, they're taking lives. There's
very little thought.
There's very little thought. And some of them are kids that are doing it. Under 18. Guess what? I'm sitting here next to somebody who did it before he was 18 years old. You were a child. You were a child that killed. You know, and we know a lot of guys like that. I know tons of guys like that.
Absolutely.
You know, and younger.
And I think another part of that is like we expressed to our buddy, you know, yesterday, that it's consequential thinking. You know, like not the unwillingness to stoop to the other person's level anymore. You know, like for me, it's like I could see things that would just irritate the shit out of me, but it's like, what's more important to me? Am I willing, like I said, am I willing to give up my power? Because by reacting to that individual, he has control, he has power over me. Am I willing to give up my freedom? Am I willing to give up everything that I've accomplished? Am I willing to, you know, sacrifice my integrity for a childish reaction?
But still, those things are about you. I'm not willing to give up my freedom. I'm not willing to go against my integrity. But you also don't do it because you know it's wrong.
Absolutely. That's what I was getting ready to say. Your values, your consequential thinking.
Yeah. You know that it's wrong. We don't want to hurt anybody else.
And why I brought up our buddy is because it's like the same thing for him. This is a man who's out there in society, who's paying taxes, who has a home, who has his family, who has his kids. You know, and what happens if he goes out there and he makes one horrible decision to react to a situation like that? And now he loses everything for what? Over some dude who obviously had no respect for himself or you to begin with. You know what I mean? What point are you really making? You know what I mean? Who's the one? Who's the true loser there? The person who has a lesson taught to him. And the reality is, most people who have to be taught a lesson usually aren't learning anything to begin with. You know, so it's
they'll be the first ones on the stand pointing a finger at you like, this man hurt me.
Yeah. Yeah, look what he did to me. After,
yep.
You know,
with the neck brace on, the wheelchair.
Absolutely.
This man harmed me. The man with the mustache.
Right.
James.
Yeah, James
of
with
the
the mustache
podcast
came for me.
Yep.
No, not me. Not me. That wasn't me. I think they got me mistaken.
It wasn't me. It was
you recognize the man. He's going to be standing in a lineup with a bunch of broomsticks on it.
Yeah. Bunch of guys,
push brooms.
I'll shave it up before you go to court.
Different brands of different brands of brooms right there in the freaking lineup.
Yeah. Holding him in front of his face. You're gonna go in there with no mustache, but oh, there's no way it could have been him. Not this guy.
No, so what are some of the okay? So there's a program, right? It's called Alternatives to Violence. It's actually the AVP, which is Alternatives to Violence Project, right? And it's man, it's what I like about this program. It has pretty simple techniques, right? And I wanted to read a couple of them off. I'm not going to read them all because it's kind of long, right? But there's one right that I always look for when I feel like I'm like somebody pissed me off or somebody's like doing something that I don't like, and it says look towards new ways of overcoming injustice. Be willing to suffer suspicion, hostility, rejection, and even persecution if necessary. And the key word, be willing. You have to be willing to feel like shit, man. If you let something go.
Yeah. Because it's going to rub. We all still possess pride. We all still possess an ego.
For sure.
It's just whether or not we're consumed by it. Whether or not it controls us. And so when you adhere to one of those principles, like the one you just read.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
I always say you got to be willing to suffer for the things you're not willing to sacrifice. And I'm willing to suffer a hit on my pride and my ego because I'm not willing to sacrifice my integrity. I'm not willing to sacrifice my freedom. I'm not willing to victimize another human being. I've hurt a lot of people in the past, and I'm not willing to do that anymore. I don't feel good about it. I'm still healing from the pain that I've caused other people, and I refuse to be a part of that anymore. So if it means I got to take a little chink in the armor and my pride and my ego, then I'm more than willing to do so because I spent most of my life running over other people's feelings. Why can't I deal with a little bit every now and then?
It's true. There's one right here that I always laugh at when I see, right? This one I don't think is going to work for me, right? But because look, not every aspect of a program is going to work for you. What you have to do is it's better to take the bits and pieces out of certain programs that work for you, and don't think too much about the other stuff, man. You can't always mold it into your character. Maybe there's a better way to look at it from something else, But there's one right here that says, do not expect that your response will automatically ward off danger. If you cannot avoid risk being creative rather than violent. So what I like about, what I always like, it's what I like and dislike about this one is, it says, don't expect, no matter what you do, there's going to be some things that you can't stop. Like there's, as far as other people's responses, it's danger. There's going to be dangerous situations that are out there that are going to happen, whether you like it or not. But it says, if you can't avoid the danger or the risk being creative rather than violent. Yeah, you don't have to be violent, but I always think about, okay, well, how would I be creative when I'm in absolute danger?
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
I'm probably not going to make the maniac or freaking Rose out of Jolly Ranchers.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to turn around and fucking run like hell.
I'm thinking go-go gadget wheels.
I'm not going to gracefully run into my car and step on the gas. It's going to be pretty straightforward.
Go gadget.
But yeah, I trip out on that one. All the time. But there's another one though that says learn to trust your inner sense of when to act and when to withdraw. That one I like because there's times where you just look, man, it's not worth it. Most of the time, it's like, look, just who gives a shit if they're right? Who gives a shit if you're going to look weak in their eyes? Who cares? Who are these people? Jesse's favorite saying. Those who matter don't care.
Those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind.
Yep, and that's it. Like, honestly, that's how I look at things in here, right? People
Hey,
come up
David.
with situations in here all the time. Yes. What's up?
That's not Jesse's saying that I was expecting. I was expecting the other one.
You can't suck a dick? which one? He's got quite a few.
That one in the what is it the
Yeah, he's got another good one. I can't remember.
the squirrel one
He's got one.
the he has the mental capacity of a squirrel or something or the other like that.
I don't remember this
You got
phrase.
you got shit for brains?
No, no.
That's just straightforward right there, Jess.
Oh,
No, no,
oh
we're
no,
talking about a catchphrase, Jess.
you got the attention span of a squirrel.
Squirrel, squirrel, squirrel.
When did I miss this one?
uh, it was.
So
I'll tell you later.
okay, yeah, yeah. I need more information on this off the air.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So anyway, well, but yeah. So guys, right? Guys are in here. They walk Billy badass. They look tough. You know, they got the look. They got the tattoos on the face and all this other shit. You know, they get into these little freaking squabbles out in the yard. You know, but these dudes, who the fuck are they? Who the fuck are they? You know, realistically,
It's a show.
it's a giant show. Who are they in your life? And that goes for anybody out in society. Somebody's over there freaking looking tough and walking around huffing and puffing out there at the supermarket or at the freaking car show. Who gives a shit if you turn around and you walk away and you find another place to go? You don't got to make a big scene of it. What does it matter? You're never going to see this freaking dude again. The problem with this place is we see him every time we go to yard, but still, what does it matter, man? Who gives a shit? They're not going to, most of those dudes, they're not going to just walk up and punch on you, without provocation. There's some people will do it, but most of them won't. And I said, man, I got pretty big fists. I got a pretty good build. They're not going to just walk up to me and freaking take that gamble. If they make a little comment under their breath and whatnot, you don't have to acknowledge it. Like, hey, man, you know what? You have a good day. And that's that. There's nothing more to it. Yeah, inside, I'm going to want to freaking hit him in the freaking face, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to even give that off. I'm not going to give off the tough guy image. I'm not going to give off that tough guy vibe because it's pointless, man. Most of the time, you're just going to be in the cage talking to the dude anyway.
Yeah.
What does it prove? What does it matter?
You'll be right back out on the yard. You guys are going to swash it later, and you're going to be suffering the consequences of it for long after the situation.
For sure, you're going to be somebody in a world of nobodies.
Yeah.
Come on, who cares?
That's
Yeah,
absolutely the case.
Yeah, those are situations that we think about, when we get out. Okay, well, I have these scenarios, right? Well, I'm with my wife, and I'm walking with her, and I'm holding her hand, and some dude walks by and freaking checks her out, whistles at her. That's something crazy, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, I'm gonna be pissed off, especially if I'm at the supermarket. I'm gonna want to freaking hurl a shopping cart at the guy, but I can't do that. That's not reasonable behavior. Because guess what? The dude can walk by. He's not going to physically put his hands on her. That's going to be another issue.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
We can't take on the world and not expect to pay the consequences for it.
Yeah, it's just plain ignorance, though. And the reality of it is it's like a playpen. In here, it's like a playpen. You see a bunch of kids in the play area. That's how prison looks, and so that's how I see it when I see people reacting that way. Like, I refuse to be the show now, and when I get out there to society, I refuse to sacrifice. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sacrifice my freedom. I'm not going to sacrifice my family. I'm not going to sacrifice my job, my home, any of that things, just to uphold an illusion or some false pride.
And then you come to prison and they're unprotected anyway.
Yeah,
you really can't do nothing to help them.
Yeah.
Hey, call
Makes
back.
no sense. James, can you take another call?
Yep.
All right, we're going to call back.
All right. So, man, unfortunately, these calls they only last for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, they're automatically disconnected, and that's where we're headed. We're headed to the 15-minute mark there. Man, hopefully one day they remove that 15-minute limit, at least from the tablets. From the phones on the wall. I totally agree that those should remain the way they are. Just to give everybody the opportunity to be able to use the phones on the wall. But when it comes to the tablets, very unnecessary because everybody has their own tablet. Pretty much they have access to their own phone line, dedicated phone line, and all that needing to disconnect after 15 minutes doesn't make any sense. But you know what? I mean, I guess a lot of people or the administration or whoever makes these
call
LOPEZ
is now being
Global Talent.
recorded.
Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga gracias por utilizar Global Tel-Link.
Hello, hello.
All right, James. Yes,
Yep.
sir.
Yeah, so I got some comments on here that I want to go ahead and read off to you guys. We have one
All
from
right.
Michael, which is tuning in from Toronto, and he writes, "Takes a better man to walk away,
Toronto.
and women, you will." Well, I'm not sure what it would put there, but he said it takes a better man to walk away from to walk away. Also, four ring 8P writes, to some, it's not about giving up power. It can be a simple reaction to those exposed to a great amount of violence, whether domestic or streets. And Michael also writes, deep, good stuff tonight. Learning a lot because I have moments like that out here. My mind better, my mind better than that at end of the day, if that makes any sense.
Well, I think you made it worse. I, I, I think that I'm just being straight for like even your like you have to learn to speak gibberish like Jesse and I. We understand what he's saying, even through your jargon. Yeah. No, it's just you know what I learned out there is that a lot of guys they type fast. A lot of people out there. I can't just say guys because I got to remember this is a what do you call it? Multi-gender. Type very fast out there. Um, my wife blows me away with how fast she can type. What about you, James? What's your typing like?
You know what? It's hard. It's hard. Cause um, you know what? It's like I mean, it's easy to think about it when you're calm, but when you're really in that situation, that's like the real moment of truth. Since I'm out here, a lot of the times, I'll react without thinking. So later on, and I'll mention it to my wife, or she'll mention it to me, and then she'll tell me like, hey, like you can't be carrying yourself in that way, like you got too much to lose. So after the fact, yeah, it's easy to think about it, but after that, I mean, while in the moment, it comes hard, at least for me, to actually
Hey,
react. And
you answered my next question that I was going to ask, but I was asking how fast do you type?
oh, I type slow.
That was a hey, that was a good hey, that was a deep answer, man. For words per minute, fuck. I was like, man, it was emotional. There was tears, regrets.
I think I think what it boils down to, is impulse control and like old boy shit. Was it four ring eight or was it four ring eight?
We'll get your name down eventually, but we need to hear it more. Four
four
ring eight.
What is it?
four ring 8P.
Four ring eight P.
Yeah, four ring eight P.
Yeah.
So
Pun intended.
yeah, four ring eight P. So just exactly like he said too, though. Like it's not necessarily giving up your power. It definitely is. You are turning over your power, but a lot of us were reactive in that sense because of past experiences. You know what I mean? So he's absolutely right. He hit it on the head. A lot of guys are conditioned that way because that's what we were taught. That's what we were taught works. That's what we taught. We seen it and we emulated the same kind of behavior, whether it was inflicted on us, inflicted on the people in our home, inflicted on the people around us in the neighborhoods we grew up in. Like it just became a learned behavior. Just like being angry becomes a learned behavior. If you can get upset and you can get angry, but anger is a learned behavior. You learn how to react to certain situations with anger through witnessing it in past experiences. And like how he said, domestic violence or otherwise, that's exactly how it works. You see it and you turn around and you tend to, you know, emulate the same kind of behavior. So he's right. It doesn't all boil down to giving up power. for me, the way I see it today is if I react to somebody, I'm giving them my power because nobody can make me.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Nobody can make me feel or react in any kind of a way. It's all about the power that I give to the situation.
And I think it's the level of aggression that you were willing to take it in the past.
Right.
Yeah, it's not supposed. It could have been as simple as throwing blows. These dudes are guys do it out there all the time. Some shit happens, they go out to the front yard and they freaking roll around in the grass. Punch each other out a little bit. Even get on some boxing gloves and just go out in the backyard with your cousins or something like that. And that's how a lot of shit's dealt with. The problem with us is that we didn't stop there. We get into a fight and we're like, damn, now I want to, even if I didn't win the fight or even, it didn't matter, win or lose, I want to fight again. Now I'm walking around to the store and I got a little pep in my step. I'm over there by the freaking Snicker bar aisle. somebody grabs the last stick of Taffy. I'm tripping. Now I want to fight. I'm going postal. Yeah. And now it's one incident after another. That's why we were going C status in here a lot. Because we didn't know when to learn. C status in here, for those of you that don't know, if you get 2 serious write-ups within a 6-month period, they put you, they take away your status, your A1A or A2B normally. That's like standard privilege group. But if you go on C status, they take your TV, they take your program, no day rooms, no phone calls. Even on the tablet, they take the phone call app off of it. You can't do shit. You're
deemed a program failure.
Yeah, it's a program failure. And so, me, whenever I got on 115, guess what? I'm going on C status. I wouldn't learn. I haven't been on C status for, let me see, 2017 was the last time I was on C status, I think.
How many times, though, if you knew C status was coming, so you were like, I'm just going to make it count?
Oh, every time.
Yeah. Exactly.
The funny part is that I would get the first 115 and like suspect that C status was coming, and I would actually get to like the 5th month out of 6 months before I would do something stupid and get a 115, and then I'd make it count.
Like, well, here we go.
Yep.
You can only C status me one time. Might as well make it count.
Yep. Might as well rock this motherfucker, and that's what I would do, But it was just destructive behavior, harmful. But yeah. So this is a good topic, man, because this is nonstop out there, man. It happens. It seems like it's more violent now. Maybe I don't know if that's because of social media or because of
it's more prevalent.
Yeah, the news but it just seems like it's been extremely crazy out there since we've been in prison.
What it is, it's the culture. People out there, and that's why I say there's so many situations out there that can resort in violence because everybody's running at an all-time high. The world's moving so fast. People are dealing with so many different stressors. There's so many situations. Nobody is conscious of the people to the left or the right of them. So when they get blindsided, whatever problems they're dealing with in their life on a day-to-day basis, sometimes it blows its lid. You're seeing people out there, civilized people, that normally wouldn't react that way, but they're having a day that you just, you couldn't understand, and all of a sudden somebody shows up, somebody cuts you off, somebody stops too fast at the red light or gets your parking spot, and you got people out there going ham.
I got a question for you. Okay, those are generic, standard, like you pissed me off situations. What's the one situation, Jess? And I know there's probably a few. What are the situations that would probably lead you into violence, or you'd be the most at risk for violence?
I would probably have to say harming somebody, harming my family. It would probably have to, like, one of my kids, a sibling, I think it would have to be something like that, like witnessing it, seeing somebody physically harming, my daughter.
A full-grown man just walks up and, punches on your kid, or, like even my son or something.
Yeah.
My son's a badass basketball player. You
Even
know,
disrespecting them.
yeah. And I think about it like, man, somebody put their hands on my wife, somebody put their hands on my son,
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
somebody put their hands on my dear old mama.
Dear old mama.
And yeah, yep. And those are situations where, you would have to utilize every coping mechanism you got. And hey James, what do you do in that instance, James? You call 911, right? That's what you do?
No, no, no.
James the civilian?
No, I have my wife call 911. I could never live with myself calling 911, so I need my wife to do it for me. Hello, hello.
What if she's not there? Yeah, what if she's not there? I was assessing your answer. My silence was like, damn, well, I was assessing.
You know what? I think it all depends on the situation. If it's something like that where something that somebody did something to one of my kids, then I would call the cops. But if it's like a neighbor acting up or something, then I would have my wife call the cops. And if she was there, it all depends. Or for certain things, I wouldn't even call the cops. But if it's something serious, like where somebody like let's say there was a teacher like and they hurt my kid or something, oh yeah, the cops are definitely gonna
Uh,
get involved in that.
yeah, and but see, I didn't hear you say anything about going to pick up a gun, getting a baseball bat, getting shit like that. Like it was,
Grabbing a kitchen knife.
yeah, I didn't hear that, and I think that you'd probably want to, but you have to behave responsibly.
And also another thing with that is I wouldn't want to say anything like that publicly because if something ever does occur like that, I wouldn't want them to use it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want them to use that recording against me. But yeah, no, no, I'm for I'm for calling the authorities in that case.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. I would too. I absolutely would. That's what I'm paying taxes for, and that's the social construct out there in society. You know what I mean? We're the ones that we're not vigilantes. We're not freaking Cape heroes.
Yeah, speak for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we're not Batman and Robin no more.
No, that's it. You're on your own, buddy. The Bat Cave is all yours.
I was gonna let you be Batman for a while too.
Well,
I'm
I'm
gonna
done.
give you the bat suit.
Yeah, I'm retiring. I'm hanging them up. I'm the Green Lantern.
He was. He took the weirdest character in the whole franchise, the Green Lantern. Is that even in Batman, or are you thinking of the Green Goblin? No, the Green Lantern. Isn't that the guy with the little Asian dude that's always with him?
Probably. I have no idea.
Tonto.
I don't. I don't pay much
He picked the
attention.
Lone Ranger out of yeah, every superhero to be in your freaking, in your madness.
Yeah.
And you became Tonto.
I became Zanebot. from Big Brother.
Zorro. I can tell it's you, Jess. It's obvious.
It's obvious. You got a little thing over your eyes. How am I not supposed to know it's you? Put down the sword and step away.
It's obviously you. I see you lost it.
You went off on the deep end here. So what was James? I didn't get to hear it because I was using the restroom.
Does the hamburger have a mustache?
The hamburger does have a little mustache, little Pepe Le Pew mustache, little French mustache.
He does, that's James.
Yeah, that's James. James is the hamburger. Uh-oh. So what is James? What was James? I didn't get to hear James's response to your question.
He said he's calling the authorities. Well, he said he's going to have his wife call the authorities. If it's something crazy, the authorities are going to be called.
And he's like, I got to get out of town while my wife calls the cops.
Yep.
I'm on the run.
Yep. James, you there? Make sure you're there, man.
Yeah, I'm here. I just have you on mute. I'm talking to my wife.
Oh, okay. There you go. He's already getting her to get ready to call the cops.
Yep.
Yeah.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
They were asking me if I would call the cops if something happened. So I told them, no, I wouldn't. No, I told them that no, I wouldn't call the cops. I'll have you call the cops.
For sure.
Who's supposed to call the cops when she's whooping on you, James?
Yeah. Yeah.
In that
Beat
case,
you up.
my wife said we're not cop callers, so we wouldn't be calling anybody. Just you do.
Yeah, exactly. All of
I only call Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, how convenient. How convenient for her.
I call Omarosa Mandibles.
Yeah.
Is that her name, Omarosa? She deals with all my shit.
Hey, callback is about to hang up. It's gonna hang up.
Oh, right.
All right, so that's yours. That's your phone. So yeah, so I'm on the move right now. We're I'm not streaming from my house, so I'm not sure if you guys could tell with all the background noise and whatever. But I'm trying to put it on mute any moment I have. I'm more listening just because there's too much going on over here. We came to a barbecue, but we're about to get moving. So right now, when they call back, I'll go ahead and put it back on mute, and then we'll go ahead and have them. We'll go ahead and have them continue, and hopefully they call back sooner than soon. But here we go.
Esta
This
es
call is
Global
now being
Telling.
recorded.
Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
David Lopez.
un individuo encarcelado en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello, hello.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'm gonna start. We're about to leave, so I'm gonna put it on mute, and I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys do your thing.
All right.
Okay.
All
We
right.
got about what, like one more. We got about another phone call left.
Yeah, we got about another call, and then we're gonna get ready to take off to this yard.
Yeah, we
Oh.
got CGA tonight.
Okay, that'll work.
Yeah. They are. Hey, what's up with Iceman? Has Iceman been tuning in?
So Iceman hasn't tuned in today, but Fisher did. He did tune in. He's sending his to everyone.
Okay,
Man, I
cool.
love seeing that.
Yeah, we talked to him yesterday. We sent our saludos to the Fish Slayer. Yeah, we talked to him yesterday. That was cool. He's been real busy lately, so. Yeah. Okay.
Hey, you know what? I'm looking at this AVP packet, right, Jess? And I think the craziest thing. Well, there's a lot of cool stuff in here. There's a lot of stuff that's worked for me in the past. But I always laugh when I see the "How do you feel" faces.
Yeah.
They're like the "How do you feel" faces are like cartoon faces, and I don't know who draws them, right? But there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 30. There's 30 faces, and the faces are like they demonstrate an emotion, right? So there's the sad face, right? It's got like a droopy, sad look. Then there's the mad face, and the face is kind of like squared off, and it's got a little scowl on it, you know. But you start getting into the weird faces, right? Like scared face, he looks like he got struck by lightning. Disgusted face, he's got his tongue out. You know, I think the saddest face that's on here is the helpless face.
Where's that at?
He looks shell-shocked, like he just walked in on a grandparent or something.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
He's like, just when you've seen too much. And he's got that look, you know. Look at jealous. Jealous face looks pretty crazy. I don't even know how to describe it. The jealous face is longer. It's got some weird looking eyes that are also long.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Funky
That doesn't look jealous to me.
No. Hey, so I got a question. We were talking earlier about psychopaths and so I was talking with somebody earlier and they were talking about psychopaths and narcissists and I like I said, if I'm honest, I feel like I used to identify with psychopaths and narcissists for sure. You know what I mean? And they were basically saying that that you can't you can't change, a psychopath or a narcissist perspective. You can't change them. And I agree with that. Because the reality of it is, you couldn't change anything about me before. I had to change it myself. Nobody else could change me. And that's the key. That's, step one. Until we come to understand that there's a problem exists, and that we are the problem, that there's no way that anything else can take place until you've come to that realization yourself. And I think it's the same thing. I think it's a lot deeper for a psychopath, and I don't know if I was completely a psychopath because I wasn't apathetic. I had feelings. I just chose to ignore them, or I didn't understand them, didn't know how to process them. So I basically resided in the feeling that felt most comfortable to me, and that was just anger, And
well, that's why I don't believe I was a true psychopath.
Right.
I believe I was kind of psychotic. I don't know, I was definitely psychotic.
Exactly.
But was I a psychopath? And I don't believe you were either. Just I've known you in the thick of your madness, man, and you were just dedicated to your shit, man. You did what you did.
Right.
That's what it was like. It was all business. You're a businessman, and I believe that you were a ruthless businessman. I was a ruthless businessman my damn self, but
it didn't make a psychotic. It didn't
make a psychopath. Like, no, I felt bad, not all the time, but I did feel a feeling of I felt bad. I felt remorse. It didn't stop me from my behavior because I was also motivated by a lot of other things like addiction and whatnot, But yeah, I did feel bad. I would do something to somebody or have someone hit or something like that, when I was in charge and stuff, and I felt bad. I was like, fuck, now we just did the homie wrong, we just did him dirty, and all of a sudden he's a homie again,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was business. But it was always, it was nothing personal. It's business.
And he would understand, like, they got to understand, like, that's just the name of the beast, I have to make sure this beast right here.
The job was dangerous when you signed up.
Absolutely. We can't stop that machine, but in the end, but we could have, and that's the thing. That's what we told ourselves. We couldn't stop that machine. We just sure as hell didn't have to be a part of it.
Right.
We're not gonna. They've been trying to break these organizations for years, and this is a coordinated effort that they're doing, So we were small pieces of that machine, small parts, but we did have a say whether we were involved or not. We lied to ourselves. We were in denial. We didn't have to do any of that stuff.
Right. And that was basically the explanation I was giving that until I came to the realization of how psychotic I was in my beliefs and my thought process, how distorted my perspective was of things, and that's a form of psychosis in itself. That just your distorted perspective, it's just madness. We say it all the time. Insanity. Doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. And so I think maybe you're right. I appreciate you helping me understand that a little clearer, because earlier I did identify as a psychopath, because again, I was out there, I was willing to take human life out there in here without any regard to.
I never said you weren't fucked up. Don't think for a second I wasn't saying that.
Right.
I'm just saying that you weren't that definition right there, the textbook definition of a psychopath. It wasn't you.
Right.
And you were a hot mess, Jeff.
For sure.
But it was a little different, And I met some psychotic fucking people, in the system, and you could just tell, that individual. I won't say his name. That was in the county that he got brought in, during that time when you were there, and that dude is a psychopath. I'm trying to give him a freaking sign of who it was.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I said a name. Now think about it.
Yeah.
We're gonna call him. Let's give him a freaking code name. We're gonna call him freaking, I don't know, Sundial.
No, we're gonna call him. I used to call him Harry Potter.
There we go.
That's what I used to call him, Harry Potter. That's what made him all the worse, because you never would expect the monster that was coming out of that dude.
Yeah, that dude was he checked all the boxes. That dude was fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
And he was a fucking maniac. He was a cold-blooded murderer. 100%. He's on death row right now.
Yeah. But he's probably one of the smartest dudes I've ever met.
That checks the boxes.
And
highly intelligent.
Yep, and that's not just street smart. I'm talking about book smart. He had a photogenic memory to where he could read something, a whole freaking case law, and damn near regurgitate the whole freaking case law. Like his intellect was on a whole nother level than anything I've ever ran into. Made him that much more dangerous, you know.
Yeah. Butchered a celly.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck, stabbed him over 40 something times.
Yep, 52 times.
Yeah, I've seen the stab holes on the dude. That dude lived.
Yeah.
That dude's super lucky he lived because he was busted for multiple murders when he was going to his trial.
Absolutely.
Yeah, dude was a fucking psychopath. That's a psychopath, yes.
I have the pictures right there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So think about it. Yeah, could you have done those things? Hey, I've done a lot of fucking shit, Jess. You know, but the fact of the matter is I didn't see any remorse in that dude.
No.
Nothing.
Not
I used to see that dude all the time when I would walk by, and you know he'd be in the holding cell right there. He's in the law library in the holding cell right there, and it's just fucking nothing, man. Just arrogance coming off of that dude.
Yeah.
You know.
That's him.
Yeah, and I tripped out on that, and he was really nothing physically. He didn't seem like anything, you know, anything physically.
That's why I used to call him Harry Potter.
Yeah, skinny, lanky.
Yep, looked like a little nerd.
Yep. A little older, you know.
Yeah, but he was a madman.
Yeah, he's a fucking madman, maniac.
And it's funny that you say that because low key, in all my years of dealing with gangsters and criminals and other madmen, you know, out of all the dudes I've ever met, he's the one person I held in the highest regard, as far as like just I respected his gangster more than I ever have anybody else's that I've ever come in contact with. Just because, and it was because of his intellect, though. Because anybody can be violent, anybody can be calculated, anybody can be. Those are all things that anybody can possess. You just got to be reckless enough, you know what I mean, or hopeless enough.
Yeah.
But to have the kind of brain that man had, it was on a whole nother level, you know, and just he was a trip. He's a trip. I think about, like, damn, imagine somebody like that, what his potential could have been in the real world, the same way we see it now in us, and like the things we're doing now, and it's like, man,
could have been a freaking surgeon with his memory.
100%. He could have done anything with his life because he's that damn brilliant. You know what I mean? And to think that instead he decided, I'm going to be a prison gang member and I'm going to murder people for the rest of my life.
Yeah. So that's the level of psychopath that I set right there.
Okay.
You know, and then you got like the standard idiots, like, you know, the literally the guy from the movie Psycho, and those types of people, you know. But there is a difference. We're not like them. Yeah. We're not like them, no matter how hard we tried, and no matter how what things we did in the past. We're not like them. You're not like them. I'm not like them, and that's why we're capable of love. We're capable of being loved. We're capable of getting our feelings hurt. We're capable of coming out to this podcast, you know. Talk to our listeners. Yeah, we made our Taffy in the shape of a heart, yes.
We're soft.
We're soft.
Yeah, we're getting soft on them.
I French braided it.
Yeah. You French braided a heart. You're sicking me.
Yeah, for crying out loud.
Yeah, now you got James strung out there on Taffy.
Yep.
Man. He's running broadcasts just so that way he can get a hold of us. Like, hey, you guys send any of that Taffy recently?
Yeah, we do. We do want to send some more out.
Yeah.
We want to send some more out. See if we can do it.
For sure.
We are limited by our incarceration, unfortunately.
One of our buddies, though, he's supposed to go check out this Taffy spot down there in San Diego, in Oceanside, and see if we can't maybe get a little marketing business going on there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We can mass produce Taffy.
Yeah.
We gotta do.
Get it.
We'll call it Wacky Taffy.
Yeah, Wacky Taffy for all the whack jobs that you've been selling it to. Yeah, Wacky Taffy for sure. Yeah, that's true though.
Hey, we're gonna wrap this call up pretty soon. I don't know, James. I know we're on mute. I know that you have stuff going on. I know you're traveling. if it's possible, ask your wife if she can untie you, just for the moment.
Right now, I'm actually I'm sending.
But
I was trying to send you guys a Morse code right now with my eyes to save me because it was going. It was about to go down right here in the car we're driving right now, and she might have run a family of little ducks off the road right now.
That's it. We're not getting mixed up in that, James.
yeah,
We're
yeah,
not, we told you. We told you.
yeah, we told you
When
already.
it comes to baby, you're on your own. That's the fact that
Man.
any of these other, but any of
Yeah.
these other foods, but when it comes to baby, you're on your own on this one.
I just wanted her to. She can leave you tied up. We just need you to talk for a couple minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We're not trying to get in the middle of your business. We just need you to untape his mouth so he can do his lights out speech.
Yeah. You know, we say around here, like yeah, see, I don't have it down though. I would say a little different. You know, like we say around here, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. You know?
Every time he asks that too, he'd be like, "Hey, what does James say? Life is like a box of chocolates." I'm like, nah.
Once you eat one, you'll never get it back. You know what I mean?
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
All
I
right.
gotta give a quick shout out right now. Don't say it yet. I gotta give a quick shout out to my beautiful wife. I love you. I will talk to you soon.
Yep, definitely want to give a shout out to everybody else, all the faithful listeners, everybody who tunes in with us. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you for being here. And yeah, that's it.
Hey,
All right,
so
James, we'll talk to you again soon.
likewise, I want to go ahead and give a shout out to my wife because she's definitely putting up with me in this craziness here. Me streaming in
Absolutely.
family parties, streaming on the car. Definitely want to show and recognize my appreciation for her. And like I said around here,
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
she just rolled her eyes at me. And like I said around here, life's like life's like a candle. Once you blow it out, it's lights out. And with that, we're out.
Right? Well, that's right. I thought it was crazy broadcasting too.